Hello and welcome to Bible Bites Daily. Today we have reached Numbers chapter 4. In this chapter we encounter detailed instructions given by God to Moses regarding the care and transport of the sacred items in the tabernacle. As we unpack these verses, we will discover meaningful lessons about reverence, service, and the importance of handling God's treasures with care. As we turn to chapter 4 in Numbers, we find the Lord instructing Moses to take a census of the Kohathite clan of the Levites. These were the individuals chosen for specific task of transporting the holy items of the tabernacle. Now imagine the scene, the tabernacle, the dwelling place of God's presence, filled with sacred objects, and a group of individuals entrusted with the responsibility of moving these treasures. In verses 4 to 15, we get a detailed account of the duties assigned to the Kohathites. Their responsibility was to carry the most sacred items, including the Ark of the Covenant, the table for the showbread, the lampstand, the altars, and the utensils used for the holy services. However, there were specific guidelines given by God on how these items were to be handled and transported. Now, let's pause and reflect on the significance of this meticulous care. The lesson is clear. The things of God are to be handled with reverence and respect. This truth extends beyond the physical artifacts of the tabernacle to our own lives. We are vessels of the Holy Spirit, and we too need to be handled with care, recognizing the sacredness within us. Consider the Ark of Covenant, a symbol of God's presence among His people. It was not to be touched or seen by unauthorized individuals. The Kohathites were instructed to cover the sacred items with specific coverings before the priests could approach. This emphasizes the holiness of God and the need for a reverent approach in our worship and service. In our modern lives, how often do we pause to consider the holiness of God? How do we approach Him in our worship, prayer, and daily activities? The lesson from Numbers chapter 4 is a reminder that God is holy and our interactions with Him should reflect an awareness of His sacredness. As we continue through Numbers 4, we find specific instructions on the age and qualifications of the Kohathites involved in this sacred task. Only those between the ages of 30 to 50 were assigned these duties. This highlights the principle that service to God requires maturity and a sense of responsibility. It's not about age alone, but about a heart that understands the weight of the responsibility entrusted to it. In our own lives, whether we are young or old, God calls us to serve with a mature and responsible heart. Our service is not about duty, but about understanding the sacredness of our calling. No matter our age, we can all contribute to the work of the kingdom when we approach it with a heart that desires to honor God. Let's also consider the practicality of the instructions given to the transportation of these sacred items. The items were carefully covered, and the Kohathites were to use poles to carry them. This method ensured that the individuals carrying the items did not come into direct contact with them. The poles served as a reminder of the separation between the sacred and the common. This separation is a crucial lesson for us today in our lives. There should be a clear distinction between the sacred and the common. We are called to be in the world, but not of the world. Our values, our choices, and our actions should reflect the holiness of our God, just as the sacred items were set apart. So, are we called to live lives that are set apart for God's glory? Now, let's explore the role of the Merarites, another clan of the Levites, as outlined in verses 21 to 33. Their responsibility was to carry the structural elements of the tabernacle, the boards, bars, pillars, and sockets. These were the foundational components that supported the holy space where God's presence dwelt. This teaches us a profound truth. Every aspect of God's house, no matter how seemingly ordinary, plays a vital role in supporting His presence. In our own lives, we may not carry the Ark of Covenant, but we carry the presence of God within us. Our thoughts, within our words and actions from the structure of our spiritual lives. Are we allowing God to build and support His presence within us? If not, we should. As we conclude our reflections on this chapter today, let's carry these lessons with us. Handle with care the sacredness within you. Approach God with reverence and understanding of His holiness. Recognize the importance of maturity and responsibility in your service to Him. Create a clear separation between the sacred and the common in your life. And like the Levites, understand that every aspect of your life, no matter how seemingly ordinary, contributes to the dwelling place of God's presence. Hope everybody understands what this means. We should be able to thank our Lord for all these lessons and make His grace presence with all. Thank you for listening. May God bless you all in abundance.